Group 6. My name is Kimberly Ochoa. My group members is Isel Sanchez. Have you ever looked around and wondered why so many people have diseases due to food consumption? According to an article in 2012, Americans eat their weight in genetically modified food. By Green Sharp, a director of research, she informs that Americans are currently eating more pounds in genetically modified food than they weigh. Genetically modified foods are becoming a source of food people should look into before consuming or purchasing. Genetically modified foods are foods that have been altered with methods of genetic engineering, such as changing the DNA in the original foods to create fatty foods and other delicious foods. Food labeling is an important factor we should consider, such as color coding labels would allow people to know more information on the foods they are consuming. This will help them stay in healthy lives without consuming genetically modified foods. California should require color-coded labeling on genetically modified foods to inform customers of the healthiness of the foods they are consuming and purchasing. By doing so, they will lead the people to make better decisions for their health by being able to choose healthier foods. This will result in a decline in health issues in society. First, we will talk about genetically modified foods leading to health diseases in the population. Second, we will talk about how the FDA has not done its job by informing people of what is in their foods by labeling the foods properly. Lastly, we will talk about how adding color-coded labels on foods will allow us to try and avoid those diseases.
Genetically modified foods have become a problem in the United States that has led to serious health issues. According to a 2014 article, Effects of Genetically Modified Foods on Human Health That You Should Pay Attention to Consumption, written by Vlad Barman, a health coach. The author informs of the health issues that genetically modified foods can cause problems such as an increase in allergic reaction, bacterial strains, poor diets, immune and organ damage, birth defects, and obesity. All of these diseases are serious problems that can be created from consuming genetically modified foods. Although these foods taste delicious because of the chemicals put into them, they really do not benefit us due to the health problems we can obtain. Therefore, it is better to be well informed to help avoid people from making poor decisions that would affect their life in the future. Genetically modified foods have not allowed us to know exactly what we are consuming because they do not have food labels that inform us of what we are consuming. The labels on the items do not offer enough information as to how healthy or unhealthy items are. They lack information people should really be informed about, such as ranking of healthiness could provide people with a better idea of what they are actually eating. Now that we explained a bit information about the issues genetically modified foods can cause, we will now move on to the blame.
The reason there are negative effects occurring to people from genetically modified food is because the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, has failed to do its job on informing people of what they are eating. The FDA is responsible for monitoring the trading and safety of our foods. The FDA requires all foods and drinks for humans and animals to be registered and labels. The FDA information labels, as they are now, are confusing and hard to understand. But even the labels, as they are now, do not contain GMOs. A GMO is a genetically modified organism that is the result of a laboratory process where animal genes from their DNA are artificially forced to change, such as the cause in rapid rate growth. This is when animals grow faster than they're supposed to, and then they're unable to move because their bones cannot support them and eventually end up dying. Genetically modified food products have been neglected from the FDA's eyes. This has caused all these undescribable consequences to occur, such as death, cancer, bacterial illness, and birth defects that affect Americans. According to a 2000 scholarly journal published by Americans for Safe Food by Nathan Batralian, a nutritionist specialist, he informs us of different effects that genetically modified food can cause humans. The author states that during a biointegrity statement lawsuit filed against the FDA by 6 scientists and 12 religious leaders, the FDA's failure to require labeling of genetically altered food is effectively restricting Americans from exercising this right of subject individuals to food they have sound reason to avoid. FDA policies thus appears to isolate the First Amendment of the Constitution, the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, which require the added substance to food be labeled and mandate disclosure of material facts. All of that has been excluded. The FDA now labeling genetically modified foods restrict us from the right to know what we are really purchasing. Not knowing which food are genetically modified is the reason people cannot avoid them and are a big factor as why people are establishing more health problems and diseases.
Now that we informed about some of the health defects, we can continue on to how labeling food can become a solution to avoiding such health problems. There are many different diseases caused by poor eating, and the idea of food labeling would be something worth considering. Food labeling would allow people to be more aware of the decisions they are making when eating certain genetically modified foods. According to the article in 2014, Color-Coded Labels, Healthier Foods, by Sue McGreevy, a General Hospital public affairs specialist. She informs that labels would consist of a color coding ring consisting of green, yellow, and red. Each color would symbolize a certain risk factor, from green being the healthiest, most nutritious food containing items such as fruits and vegetables, to yellow being in between, healthy and unhealthy, and to red being the most unhealthy and harmful food containing items such as fatty foods. This color coding process would make it easier for people who want to have a better diet pick out food. People would be exposed to the real truth behind what they are eating and would know exactly what they are consuming. And it is why we believe California should adopt this technique. Food labeling is a key to a healthier lifestyle. This idea can result in a decrease of health problems such as obesity. Food labeling would make people eating habit decisions easier to make because they would be aware of the healthiness of the food and the risk the certain food can create. In conclusion, California should require labeling of genetically modified foods to inform customers of the healthiness of the food they are consuming and purchasing, leading to people making better decisions about the food they are eating and purchasing, and resulting in a decline of obesity and other diseases in the society. First, the issue of health problems in the United States could be something to avoid if people knew exactly what they were eating. Second, if the FDA informed people of what they were consuming, people would be able to avoid health problems. Lastly, food labels would be the main source to help people know exactly what they are eating. Adding a simple color code food label on genetically modified foods could truly benefit people to making better decisions regarding their health. This procedure would allow people to understand the importance of knowing what they are consuming and would enable them to take control of their food consumption.